Red hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Winter reveals the hidden lie. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Hello, everybody. I forgot to turn that off. How are you? Welcome to the show this evening. It's my birthday. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. Please never mind my crazy messy bun. I'm not even ready, but it's almost 10 o'clock. Let's get this show on the road. So, how is everybody? How is everybody? Thank you to everybody for all of the birthday wishes. My friend, Miss Jan, thank you. You are so precious and you are so sweet, and God bless you. Thank you for your surprise today. I love you. And then my friend Tony bought me a birthday cake. I think it's the first birthday cake that I've had since I was a kid. Or at least if I've had one, I don't remember it. So, it's just another day. It's another day. Those of us who aren't spoiled and get those kinds of things, it's just another day. It's just another day. Anyway, so it's my birthday, 49 candles, one more trip around the sun. But tonight, I'm not here to celebrate me. I'm here to talk about what's at stake. We're going to get a little deep tonight, okay? We're going to look at this case and where we're at, what we know that's new, anything new that we know. But I'm going to tie this case to a whole new kind of mission statement for here at Hillbilly Crime. Okay. We have been evolving, over the last year. My life's work. I have a life's work. I think we all do. Depending on what, depending on what our work is, depending on what our interests and just kind of maybe even our destiny, right? Maybe even our destiny. But my life's work has been made up of several different areas, several different phases and tragedies and things that I've overcome in my life. I am not a big fan of the rehab system, as everybody knows. I'm very, very critical of it because of the waste, the fraud, and the abuse that's in it, okay? All right. But so how I'm going to do this, I'm here to talk about what's at stake because there are coaches out there. Now, my kids are athletes, okay? So this is very important. I have experience in this situation. I kind of feel like the Lord is developing this path. You guys hear our prayers every night. We are constantly asking God to guide our steps, open the doors that He wants us, to walk through. People that we trust with our children, okay, our coaches and teachers. And sometimes that trust gets broken deeply. That's what we're talking about with Coach Turner here, okay? You guys know me. I run Hillbilly House. Now, I'm not just a ball mom. I show up. I get them to and from practice, ride the bus, stay late for game. Well, I don't ride the bus, but I get my kids to and from the bus and everybody else's kids if they need a ride. We stay late for games, call the carpool, because I know this. Prevention ain't just a word. Breaking the cycle is not just a phrase. It's presence. It's time. It's showing up every single day. And when it works, it saves lives and it saves families. Now, what we know right now about this missing coach, this is real. According to police, the Virginia State Police have issued 10 warrants for Travis Turner, Coach Travis Turner, of the undefeated season of Union High School, Coach Travis Turner. 5 counts of possessing child sexual abuse material. 5 counts. Now, that didn't say orno pay. That's not what that says. It doesn't say 5 counts of orno pay. It says 5 counts of possessing child CSAM, sexual abuse material. So that means it's orno pay of an adult abusing a child. 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a minor. ABC News and 2ABC News, they all are reporting that information. Now, Turner disappeared on November 20th, 2025. The same day that state agents went to his house to investigate. He vanished. Now, they say they were not there to arrest him at first, just to interview him. But when police arrived, he was gone. Let me pull up one of today's articles. So we are looking at him. We want to be looking at him. Missing. Okay. Now, Appalachian... let me go back up here. Since then, multiple search and rescue teams, drones, canine units have all scoured the Appalachian Mountains around his hometown. And this is not far from where we live. This is just right across the mountain. We live on the Virginia-Kentucky line. 5 minutes from my house, and I can be at the top of the mountain, crossing over into Virginia. And Appalachia and Big Stone Gap is where he's from, and where this is taking place at, just maybe 40 minutes from here. Big Stone Gap is where Mommy goes every week. She goes over there for her class. She goes over there. I better send her the invite too, just in case. She was gonna come on earlier, because she said it was my birthday. But I still have I still gotta make deviled eggs tonight. I still got a whole bunch of stuff I gotta do. Are y'all cooking good food right now? I bet you are. I bet you are. Thank you, Crystal. Bless you, honey. Bless you, man. We got the best mods, you guys. This is Marnie and Crystal, our mods. We love you. Best mods in the house. Oh, Philip. Will you hate me? It was 71 degrees here. Are you sitting in front of the fireplace? Thank you all for all the happy birthdays. Thank you. And last night we had a situation here in Jenkins again at another ball game, a basketball game. Now, I don't know what had been transpiring. I have no idea. I kind of stick to myself at these ball games because I'm taking so many pictures. Like I took 5,000 pictures last night alone. My computer, everything. Like, I don't know how I have so much pictures. I gotta find a much better way to do this. But I was taking them, clicking away, and I didn't even realize what I was getting at the time. But one of our players got their legs kind of kicked out from underneath them, and it was a really, really good game. It was a really close game. It was neck and neck all the way through. It was a very physical game. It was very physical. And it was so close that they didn't take any of the players out. I mean, they didn't take anybody out and put anybody new in. They left all the original players in there to play their game. I mean, they were fighting for that game. It wouldn't have been fair, that for them to get them all the way to the end and then take them out and put people in that hadn't done that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it goes, but anyway. So at the end of the game, one of our players got knocked down, got their legs kicked out from under them, and they got fouled. Let's just say that. They got fouled. And some people that were in the stands on the other side from the other team, they were just kids. Now, that's important. These were not adults. They were children. They were children. But one of these teenage-looking children started flipping the bird and screaming to the kid who was laid out on their back on the court. So that was a coach's kid too. So they didn't like that. So they, put them out because they were standing over top of them, flipping the bird at that kid and cussing and just carrying on. So they put them out. And people got really upset because they put out kids. Well, just because they were kids, you still can't be flipping the bird, at these games like that. Anyway, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. The game ended up getting called before the end of the game. Like they had to call the game early because it erupted into a big fight with the coaches and the parents, and I didn't even know it was happening until it was done over with. But sports, if it's a very emotional thing, because it's got people's kids, it's your kids, and sports is just emotional. It brings the best and the worst out of us all. Sports do. But in the same breath, it can also be a community. Like, who cares? Who really cares if somebody flipped the bird? I mean, okay, it's not the greatest look, but who really cares? I would rather those people be in the gym and be there with their kids than be off nodding out somewhere getting high in a dope house. Breaking the cycle means we have to show up. And it doesn't have to be sports. It could be any extracurricular activity. But for me, it has been sports. For other kids that I know, it's been sports for them. So, I mean, just because it might not work for everybody doesn't mean that we can't at least encourage it for some. But as of now, with this coach, Travis Turner, he's still missing. He's still a fugitive. And that's very strange. Could the reports of the last sightings of him, could that be staged? Could that be fake? Could somebody be saying, yeah, I saw him go into the mountain or up in the tree line with a rifle, but really he got in his cousin's blue Toyota and headed to Florida or Mexico? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's what I would do. I would get people to misdirect the police. That's what I would do. Now, in light of these charges, the school district placed him on administrative leave. He's officially banned from school property or having any contact with students, per the news. Now, Union High School was in the middle of an undefeated season, 12-0. And now playoff games keep happening under an interim coach while the community reels from this entire thing. Okay. So what do you guys think? Who is tired of cooking besides me? Colleen's been cooking all day, I take it. Hello, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy birthday, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah. I sure never thought I'd live to see 49. I did not. I thought for most of my life, I just always felt like I was destined to pass at a young age like my grandmother did. My grandmother died when she was 36. Sweet Tater's mom. She died when she was 36 years old from throat cancer or something to that effect. Something like that. And Mom said that she smoked. She smoked cigarettes. And she also said back in those days, so I guess it would have been in the late 40s, in the early 50s, 1950s, that she left because they were starving to death. They didn't have any food. And so she left and went to go work in the city so she could send money home to the kids just so they could eat. And I heard one of my aunts at one time say that they had to literally, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes they had to literally race him on foot to the mail to get it before he did, because if my mom's dad got the money first, he drank it all up and he didn't feed those kids at all. And so they would literally have to beat him to the mail just so they would be able to eat that month. Greenup County back in those days. And her grandfather, my mom's grandfather, was actually a pretty well-known person in that area. There she is. Hi, Sweet Tater.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good. So we were just talking, and I was talking about your mommy going and working in the city. And didn't you say that she went to work in a shoe factory?
No,
No? What kind of factory did she work in?
she didn't work in a factory. First, she went
Oh.
and she was sort of like took care of their kids or something. Oh, she worked in a restaurant first. And then she took care of them kids.
Whose
And
kid?
I don't know. It was somebody that just hired her to do it. And then she went to work on a riverboat as a cook.
Really?
Yeah, she made good money going up and down the Ohio River.
Now, I'm not talking about Grandma Jones. I was talking about your mother.
Well, it was
Is that who
my
you're talking about? Okay. Okay. I was
did the
just
same
making sure.
thing as Grandma Jones did. They made good money doing that.
Yeah. My Grandma Jones, that was my dad's mom. She was a riverboat cook, wasn't she, Mommy?
Yeah, I loved her.
What
And,
did tell us about my grandma a little bit?
well, she was a tiny little woman, and she learned to drive late in her life. And she married and had 2 kids. And the guy was her husband was had been really mistreated when he was a young man. So he was quite unstable. And so he just up and left one time and never come back. And she didn't hear from him for like 20 years or something.
Yeah, he went and married another woman and had like 5 more kids.
Well, that was after he got out of the hospital. He was in a hospital for a long time, I think. But he left that area. He wasn't that he wanted to leave Dorothy and the kids. It was just that he was emotionally and mentally incapable of, carrying on. So he went to a hospital, and then eventually he went over to Ohio and moved away from there.
Yeah, a lot of people have left. I think it's just any area. Anytime there's poverty and, just bad stuff, people start leaving.
Well, my mom said she was leaving to feed us.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. She might have been just sick and tired. You know what I'm saying? I was 7 years old, and I guess my oldest sister would have been. They were teenagers. You know what I'm saying? They were
Mhm.
ready to leave home.
They were older teenagers and you were the youngest.
Yes.
Well, we're kind of talking about the show tonight is on this coach Travis Turner, this football coach that has have you been aware of it? Are you aware?
Yes, I've been following it.
Okay.
Because I go to Big Stone Gap down there.
Yeah, tell
where-
us what you know.
Oh, I don't know anything. Nobody's talking about it in my class or anything like that. But I do. All I know is that they was coming. I don't know how he found out about it, but they were coming to give him a little chat. And so he took a gun, and he really wasn't. He's not really a hiker or a woodsy kind of a person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on, but he's not been seen by any. Well, he's had to been seen by somebody. He can't go hungry that long unless he's dead. I'm worried.
Well, I said that, just because somebody says they saw him grab a gun and go up into the woods doesn't necessarily mean that that's what he did. He could have went out there and gotten his cousin or his brother-in-law's blue Toyota and headed towards Mexico, and somebody just told the police that he grabbed a gun and went to the woods. I
You
mean,
are
that would
exactly right. That would make more sense because I worried about him committing suicide. You know what I'm saying? And he'd been
yeah.
up in them hills and everything, but he didn't seem like the suicidal type. I mean, but just looking at his lifestyle.
Well, and I don't think he would have been able to have hid himself. He wouldn't have been able to hide his body that, once he's done gone. He would have to have went and hid himself first and then harmed himself. But I just don't, if he's not a woodsy type guy, if he's not a hunter, if he's not a survivalist, because you would have to have some kind of survival skills in our mountains up this
I mean, to
side of
me,
Appalachia.
he was out there. He's been out there a long time. Assuming if he is in the woods, he's been there a very long time, so he's had to eat.
Yeah, and they've got canines, helicopters. They're searching on his trail. If he doesn't have those kinds of skills, I think I think this could all just be a great big distraction to give him time to escape and get away. His wife has hired an attorney. You don't hire an attorney for a dead man,
Well, you wouldn't hire an attorney for a dead man, but she needs an attorney because her and her children are in a very vicarious position. And
Yeah.
they don't usually, as now that they've charged him,
Mm-hmm.
they don't usually you never know, but they could have been just wanting to talk to him about somebody else. But now that they've charged him, I think that I feel confident that they were coming to talk to him about what he'd been doing. You know what I'm saying? What they think he'd been doing. And so he up and left.
Well, look here. Look what Smick said. They said Turner was a hometown coach hero with his winning team. He had an attractive wife. To be found out like this would have knocked him off his pedestal, in my opinion. He is unalived.
Yeah.
Well, pride and ego. Pride and ego are big things. And when you are in the accepted circle, when you are a made man, and to be in any of these positions, I think you have to be somewhat of a made man. We're not in the Italian mafia, but you better believe you're in the Appalachian mafia when you around here. And every town's got one. Every town's got one.
I never thought about it like that. That there's some sort of a little mafia in all these backwoodsy towns in Appalachia. And that's really the truth. You could write a story about paralleling what the mafia, the mafia, we think of it being awful up there in New York City, but those people had to band together. They were getting killed off. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, they got a bad reputation, and they really went up,
extreme.
Yeah.
That was extreme.
But in the beginning, they were just trying to protect the people that were from the same country they're in.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I think some of them people back long ago talked about that. They'd seen what had happened over there, back at the Constitution time. They'd seen what had happened over there in Europe. Now, Europe's probably cleaned its act up a little bit now after World War One. Those monarchs. I mean, the King and Queen of England don't have much to do with running the country.
Yeah, look here what Thad says. And man, he sure is right. They keep passing laws about protecting kids, etc., yet they could care less about kids because only 1 out of 100 trafficked kids are found alive. That's a very, very good point. Miss Linda, yes, it is very emotional game. We's talking about basketball. When you got kids in there and things like that happen, you don't go, all right, it's going to break out into something. No. But getting back onto the kids, or not the kids, but I mean, this coach. It's just a really, really, I was talking about breaking the cycle, Mom, and I was talking about how, I am not a big fan of rehabs. I'm not a big fan of this treatment, all this, it's all a big scam. It's all a big scheme so they can continue to have $100,000 salary jobs that they all get paid for, that they wouldn't hire somebody like me or you to save our life. It doesn't matter. Hey, it doesn't matter how much education, how many what our qualifications are, because people like us will never be equals to them. in the
I think I'm equal to everyone I've ever met.
you're not an addict. I'm talking about addicts. I'm talking about
Oh,
recovering addicts, and
oh,
especially us on medically assisted treatment. Okay. Now, I don't give a damn. I don't care if you drink a 6-pack of beer on the weekend, as long as you're functional and you can function and you are able to raise your kids, you're being a good parent, you're paying your bills, you're able to hold a job, you're able to, be a consistent and you know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care if you smoke Mary Jane. I don't care if you take a antidepressant. I don't care. That we all have to do what we have to do individually to be able to get up every day and live and wash our dishes, wash our clothes, get our kids up and get them to school clean with clean clothes. But here's my big soapbox: the sports. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. Like I said, it could be any kind of extracurricular activity. It could be the science or beta team. It could be the drama team, theater. It could be anything. But we as parents have to be present. We have to be the ones that's driving them to and from practice. We have to make sure that they have, whatever it is that they need to be able to do these things. Today, or last night before I went to bed, Alan asked me, he's like, "Hey, Mom," he said, "me and Hayden and Chance, we're all wanting to go tomorrow to the rec center." He said, "Will you take us up there?" Now, the last time they didn't go until 5 o'clock in the evening, and then it closed at like 9. They didn't have much time. I'd turn around and go back there and get them. This time I said, "Make sure you go earlier in the day next time." So he said, "Will you take us?" Yeah. So I got up this morning about noon, not morning, and I drove them to Whitesburg. I dropped them off, and then I went back and got them this evening. And I just kept thinking about that. I would rather be doing things like that with my kids than no. I would rather give my kids $35 to go with these friends to the arcade and have a good time and be able to trust that they're down there at the rec center playing basketball. They're not out trying to find the dope man. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's wonderful.
But this is breaking the cycle, it's a whole nother lifestyle than what we have been used to prior to being functional and, contributing to society. So right now, what we know, a coach, a trusted adult, is accused of the worst kind of crimes against children. And whose children do we think he's accused of? Whose children, and not just him, but whose children are these people accused of committing these acts against? It's your children. It's my children. Those are whose children are at stake here. And this has just happened right across the mountain. And he's not the first coach or teacher from this school to be caught doing this. We talked about one case last night. Let me finish reading this, Mommy, and you can comment on it. Okay. So he's gone missing. And while this unfolds, a football team, families, and a town are left in chaos and confusion. All right, Mommy, go for it.
Well, he not only is his team wonderful, he has an undefeated team.
That's
And
right.
those young men, boys, or whatever they are, I don't know if they have a leader. I hope that they've got somebody and that the people are really boosting those kids up so they can go forward and perhaps win whatever it is you win when you're a kid in high school. And they don't go out looking for people and question them unless they got a lot of evidence. So I don't think they'd have filed charges against him unless there was a lot of evidence. His wife says he's innocent.
I saw that too. So she has denied, but I'm
don't know.
sure.
I mean, that's what I'd do if I was in her place. Why, I don't believe that, I'd say. But, she may have to accept that he did it. I don't know that he did it.
We don't know. He's not been convicted yet.
Nope.
And if my husband was gone, which now I'm not a big fan, I've been so disappointed. I've been so let down by every single man that's ever been in my life. Now, I'm not saying every one of them that you can't depend. That's what I've always prayed for, was just one man in my life that I could depend on. But sadly, I've never had that. Which, we're all human. We're all human. So we all come up short and stuff. I don't know. The bigger picture. Let's see what you guys are all saying. Let me go back here. Smick says, I think parents getting drunk every weekend and smoking Mary Jane is setting a bad example for your kids. Well, of course it is. Go on, get off my stuff. But, if somebody can drink alcohol and they're not an alcoholic, they can drink a beer every once in a while and watch a ball game. Well, I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to say whatever. Everybody's different. Go on, Bella. Now stop. Everybody's different. And, I think that's how we get in that holier than thou and state of mind, and we go around pointing finger. People say all the time, want to say stuff about me. Well, I do a show every single day. I am medically assisted. Yes, sirree, Bob. Yes, I am.
I got a whole sack of pills in there myself.
I am medicated. Yes, I am. And someday
I got something to keep my blood pressure down, something that's going to keep my thyroid going, and something else. Oh, and the vitamins. Oh, Lord, they just give me the awfulest bunch of vitamins.
And sometimes
calcium and vitamin D.
And sometimes we got to take something to keep from choking people out.
Well, I don't see, people just have, I don't know why that we have some stuff legal and some stuff illegal, because
alcohol's awful. I don't drink at all.
Awful. I think it's awful too. But it's legal.
That's right. And a lot of people do it. So,
I'd say it probably 70% or 68% of the people in the U.S. drink.
Oh, I'd say so. And, there's a ton of people that go to church and they drink. Big time church goers, holier than thou rollers.
They don't make them a sinner because they drink.
No, it don't. That's right. It don't make them a sinner because
And
they drink.
they probably need that alcohol the same way that I need that pill to make my blood pressure stay down.
Well, it's usually though, like I'm thinking of a specific family right now in my head who is big wigs, big time churchgoers, big time business people, big time name in the community. They don't sin. They don't sin. Wife says that openly. Well, we don't sin. But yet every holiday, every event, every celebration, every time they
Well,
go out on the boat, it's all a big alcohol induced party. I don't care if it's just your family members, it's still a big drunken party.
well, I just don't like to talk about that kind of stuff.
I
I don't
know.
know.
So let's talk about something else. All right.
So,
So, the bigger picture, why this type of story is exactly why Hillbilly House exists. Now, this isn't just one bad person. Okay. Let me get back over here. This is what happens when power, respect, and invisibility mix in places where everybody knows everybody. Prevention. That is my big shtick. That's the hill that I am going to die on, is prevention. It's not, let's wait until the problem is so bad that it's either that or death. Let's start with prevention. Let's see if we can prevent some of that suffering and some of that damage before they ever get there. Prevention starts with presence. When moms and dads are too busy, or when we're gone all the time, when adults don't ask questions, predators slip through the cracks. Studies show that child abuse prevention works best when there is community education, adult involvement, and transparency, not silence or respect the coach, respect the preacher. Ask questions. Teachers and coaches are supposed to be the protectors themselves. But often there's no training or oversight. Look at the difference in training and oversight that in law enforcement than what we just assumed there was, or what we were told there was. I don't think that's reality. Well, same thing's happening in our school systems, sadly. Most schools don't require real child sexual abuse prevention education for staff or for students, which leaves children vulnerable. What do you think, Mom? You're a teacher.
well, we used to not have to have those drills about what you do if somebody comes to your school with a bunch of firearms. We never had
Mhm.
any of those drills. We'd have tornado drills and fire drills and some of those kinds of natural acts, but we didn't have to have uh, we didn't have to have drills for what you do if somebody comes to your school. You never heard of schools being locked down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's not, the communities need to be involved in talking about this stuff, and they need to have these meetings, and people need to speak up and talk about how bad they think that stuff is, if they want to prevent it, so that the coaches or the teachers or any of those people are afraid to do those kinds of things, because they know people are watching them. I don't know that it'll cure them, but it'll make them go someplace else and do it, and not do it to the kids that they're in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
never thought that it was okie dokie for college teachers to do things, naughty things with their students. I don't care if the students was older than them, because it's a thing of not being on the same playing field. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're putting your little 4th and 5th graders out there to play football with the people that are at 12 or in the 12th grade. It's just not a level playing field when you're in charge of trying to provide a better life for people, a better life for the United States. I mean, that's why we have schools, is so that people have better lives.
well, I think this is a big, important question to ask. Did somebody, well, I think he saw the writing on the wall. Like, some people were saying, oh, he was tipped off. Somebody called him and told him that they were coming. Well, yeah, they called somebody because they were on their way out there to interview him, right? They were going to interview him. So he knew they were coming. Just because they hadn't filed an arrest warrant for him yet, they still knew that they were on their way out there to, and the school had put him on administrative leave prior to the interview. Or at least that's the way that I perceived the way the information came out.
I didn't know that was so. I thought they put him on administrative leave after he ran.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. So, but regardless, they still knew the cops were coming out to talk to him. And if there had been, they said that there had been a complaint. Now, we don't know what that complaint is yet, but where the charges have been filed now, we know that he is being accused of possessing CSAM material. So that means that on one of his devices somewhere, that he had this Orno-Pay CSAM material in his possession, or they wouldn't have charged him with that.
No,
right?
They wouldn't rush the gun on that. They'd get their evidence.
So they already had it. So I think that they were going out there. They were probably going to arrest him. They were probably going to, now they've got all their evidence. So now they're going to go and talk to him last. I mean, that just makes more sense in my mind from an investigative standpoint. You would get your accusations, you get your complaints, you get all of that stuff first before you go and talk to him, because what is the one thing that they always say? We don't ever ask a question that we don't already have the answer to, that we don't already know the answer.
They probably wanted him to confess.
Right. That's exactly right.
Once they have the evidence, that's what they hope for, because it protects the innocent more if they go ahead and confess.
Yes, it saves them from a trial.
They doesn't get all drawn out. They can just do whatever they want to do, and if he confesses, give him some kind of a deal.
Mhm.
So it seems to be the best way to do it in those circumstances.
I think Egg is wanting your attention.
Oh, Egg's always wanting attention.
That's
She tries
Mommy's
to
kitty named Egg.
call her Miss Jenny.
Miss Jenny, because Jenny
Yeah.
gave her Egg. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that is why I walk the walk that I talk about. I don't just post ball games. I ride to practice. I drive to practice. Oftentimes, I will sit there throughout all of practice and then take everybody home. But now the basketball started. Those are usually 2 hours, so I don't usually sit there. But I will. I have. I do, just not all the time. But I sit in the stand. I take all the pictures and video. I talk to parents. I pay attention. I build relationships. You basically build a family when you are on a ball team. I make sure kids are seen, heard, accounted for. That's what Hillbilly House stands for. And anybody that knows me or has any kind of association with me and our ball teams know the money and the time that this old girl spends, and not just on my kids. I spend it on our entire team. Now, but yeah, ain't that funny? They'll take my money. My money's perfectly good for that, but it's not good enough to put my name up on that jumbotron along with old Butler or
Well,
Deb Collier. I think that's very funny. But
well,
I don't
you-
want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. Mommy, what do you want to say? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But
I just wanted to say that that's old history. You've told us that story 10 times.
see, I knew that's what you was gonna say. I knew it. Anyway, all right, so
I'm
let's go on.
sorry.
Because prevention doesn't start with laws or paperwork or after the fact rehab. It starts with people who care enough to stay. All right. Now, I wanted to stop for a second and explain what the Hillbilly House or what Hillbilly House stands for, what it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what Hillbilly House is because I keep saying the name and it matters. Hillbilly House is not just my home. It's not just what we say in our live chat. Hillbilly House is not just a saying. Hillbilly House is what happens when parents show up. Hillbilly House is rides to practice, sitting in the stands, staying late after games, talking to your kids, knowing their friends, knowing their coaches, knowing where they are and who they're with. Hillbilly House is prevention before addiction. It's before court, before jail, before rehab. It's not a program. It's not a grant. It's not a political slogan. It's presence. Hillbilly crime exposes what breaks communities. Hillbilly House shows what builds them. And when you subscribe to Hillbilly Crime or Elizabeth Jones, you're really subscribing to Hillbilly House. You're not paying for gossip. You're helping me keep showing up for these kids and for yours. So that is what Hillbilly House is. It's where prevention is lived, not just talked about. And so I thought that was really important to mention that. You know, I don't just talk about prevention. You know, I load the car and I drive the miles. I sit in the stands. I film the plays. And I know all the kids. I know the parents. And I know the town. I walk the walk that I talk. Okay. Let's read this article here. What we've got. Here we go. Missing Virginia high school football coach is wanted on child or no pay charges, police say. This was updated today, this morning. Virginia high school football coach who disappeared days before his undefeated team's playoff game is being sought on charges of possessing CSAM and using a computer to solicit a minor, Virginia State Police said Tuesday. Travis Turner, 46, of Appalachia, is wanted on warrants obtained Monday for 5 counts of each charge, adding that additional charges are pending as an investigation continues. They did not share details about what prompted the charges, and I think that's important. What are those details? You guys have heard me talk about Patrick Little's case over here. You still don't know any details of that case. None. All that we know is that it involved 2 children, one under the age of 12 and one under the age of 16. But they have wiped everything of any details whatsoever. So the community actually has no idea what he even did. Nobody knows how to protect their kids from him. Nobody knows. And I don't think that's right. You know, I mean, we're not talking about victim information, okay? So anybody that starts that stuff, save it, because that's not what we're talking about. Well, let's see. My mouse is not wanting to work. Might need some batteries. Turner has been missing. There we go. Since last Thursday, when state police special agents from a Bureau of Criminal Investigation office were sent to his home, not to arrest him, but to talk to him as part of an investigation. As officers traveled there, they were notified that he was gone. See, that's what I think happened. They knew he was, the family, Travis Turner and his bunch, knew that the cops were on their way out there to talk to him. And while they were on their way out there, they've said, oh, well, or I don't know, one way or the other, somebody's talked and they've said, he's not here no more. No need in coming. I'd say they probably were on their way with, I wonder if they had a search warrant at that time, or if they were strictly going to talk to him, and I wonder if they turned around and left, or if they continued on to the house. Does anybody know? Let's see. Just like medical profession, some people have no right to be there. I can't count how many times my mouth fell open at what a doctor, nurse, x-ray lab, and on have said. That's about true. Smick says, one time we were getting ready to do a C-section on a lady, but we had to wait on the father of the baby to take his girlfriend home, who also had a baby with us earlier. I believe it. I believe it. Sad. We lost the moral backbone of our country generations like our parents. Oh, yeah. The people today are not anywhere near what the coal miners of yesterday were. But, I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I do understand the work ethic side of it. But, there was a lot of other bad characteristics that came with that kind of stuff. You had men that beat their kids with belts and anything else they could get their hands on. Let me ask you, Mom, do you see a difference in the mentality of like disciplining your kids from like whenever you were growing up to now?
Well, I was never disciplined in that sense of what you're talking about, but a lot of people were, and I didn't really know anybody that was disciplined that way. It just was not something that was done within the Forbes family, and then my other side of my family, they didn't have a daddy. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of them without a father. So I just wasn't exposed to that. So I just
Well, that's
don't
another
really.
good way to put it, or that's another good pathway to go. The fatherless. Now, some people had real hard fathers. What about the fatherless? There's also that side of it too. People that didn't have a father at all.
So I don't know that we lost the backbone of our of our world because we have more opportunities today. For instance, if you want to go out and fool around, and have a little fun, you can take birth control pills, or you can get you some condoms or whatever they're called.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but okay.
Well, I was just saying that so that then you lead, so it becomes a popular thing that people engage in sex more, and so is that part of the backbone? Used to people were scared to death to have sex until they were married. We kept everybody scared to death. You know what I'm saying? And you certainly didn't want any venereal disease because there wasn't any antibiotics available until about 46.
Well,
So, you know what I'm saying?
yes, I do. We were just talking about this the other day at Walgreens or wherever we were at. So, this little old girl that I know, she just had a little baby. Her and her husband, I mean, they've been together 10 years. They've been married 3 years. They just had a baby, but they're young. But it is the most beautiful little child baby you have ever laid your eyes on. And their family is just jumping over joy, and I feel that way now. All babies are just, like good, good, good. It's a good thing. Babies are a good thing. I don't look at any baby being born as a bad thing. But I remember, it's a state of mind, I guess, and from however you were raised, I remember at one time when, having a baby was a negative thing. Oh, you're going to get pregnant. Oh God, if you get pregnant, it's just the worst. The end of the world is going to end if you have a child out of wedlock. Well, you don't have a job. You can't have a baby, and I think that, that kind of traumatized me in a certain sense, about, like, the very first baby I ever held was my own. I'd never held other children. I'd never been around anybody else's babies. But now my viewpoint on it has just changed completely. I don't know. How was it when you were people in your family? Was any baby pregnancy, was it just a negative thing?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I had a sister, Bonnie, that had a child out of wedlock. I'm not real sure the age of that girl now, and she wouldn't mind me telling the story anyway. Well, my other sister, Betty, she got stuck with me because my parents, my mom died, and so she got stuck with me. So at any rate, we went over there to my other sister because that's where she was staying. She'd left college and went to stay with her because she knew she was pregnant. And so we went over there, and she needed $50 to go to the hospital to have that baby. And my sister that had the funds, they could have given her that $50, the one I'd stayed with, I was living with. She wouldn't give it to her. And I told her that if she didn't give her that $50, that I was a leaving. She gave her the $50.
That's all it cost back then, was $50 to have a baby.
Well, I'm sure that wasn't all that it cost, but she had to have $50 to get admitted into the hospital.
To have her baby.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And my sister was just absolutely horrified. She was a school teacher, So.
Well.
That was her response. But she, was a good 8 or 10 years older than me or something like that. 8, I guess. So there was a generation gap there. And so, I don't blame her. I just was going to get that money for that girl to go to the hospital. And she'd gotten pregnant in college. And so then she quit college, and so the guy just didn't have any responsibility. As far as I know, he doesn't even know she's been born.
Really? So she went and had her baby and didn't tell the dad?
No, I don't think that he would accept her phone call or whatever you did back then. She certainly wasn't going down there. I tried to get a hold of him and so forth and so on, because I was a snippy little old thing, and I couldn't get a hold of him either.
You tried?
Yeah.
Oh, what was you gonna say?
Give him a good cussing. I was probably 16 or maybe 17. I'm not sure. Something along in there.
Cinnamon hot says, we're living in a world of entitled people that seem to think that their pleasure matters the most. A lack of morals, a lack of honesty, and a lack of God. Well,
our views have changed, and a lot of it is because of medical care. We have so much medical care that you can get cured of stuff. Used to be use real careful not to catch colds and a lot of things like that. People didn't get out and carry on. and rip around in cars, because if you had a wreck, you're just going to die, People
Mhm.
died. Now
Yeah.
people, we try to save all of them.
Marnie says historically, the decline in morals has led to civilization's ending. That's interesting.
I'd say that's probably true, and that a decline in morals leads to a civilization ending because
Tradition ending.
what happens is we don't value life. We quit
Mhm.
valuing life when
It's a
our
great way.
morals decay. And so once we quit valuing life, then our numbers will decrease, and civilizations don't end because, they don't end like overnight usually. I know Sodom and Gomorrah, I think, wasn't that the one that the fire come down?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that could have happened, but I'm not questioning or making fun of it. But usually we don't just go out like a light. It's something that happens over a period of time.
Mhm. Yep.
But then
Yeah.
something else can happen, and it can be turned around. And what we consider morals this year may not be the morals of next year.
My dog Rex says if boys and girls were allowed to get married and have babies at 15 years old, the ones that wanted to, lots of the social problems would be eliminated. Well, I got to thinking when I started reading that, you know, girls and boys were getting married and having babies at 13 and 14 years old back a long time ago, and they would have as many babies as they possibly could because that was how they worked their farms. They had to have kids to have hands to work. They needed workers, and their kids became their workers. We don't have that kind of society today, but that's the way that like now I can remember being told at 25 30, you can't have a kid, you're not a good mom, just I didn't have any confidence, nobody had, it wasn't just me, nobody had confidence in me either, nobody else did either. uh I think we have a lack of confidence. Like, I didn't think I could do it. I was too much of a screw up. I don't know. Maybe if we are like I had to just have a baby and do it, you know? I mean, I understand that.
There is something to be said about that. Many of the things that I've done has been because there wasn't anybody else to do it. So
Right.
either I had to do it or it wasn't going to get done. And so when you're talking about motherhood, if if uh, uh, if you're not forced at the age of 18 or 19 when you have a baby to take care of that baby, a lot of times you won't do it.
That's
You won't accept the
right.
responsibility because you just throw it off on somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that
You
that's
happen to.
what I did. That's what I did with William. Not meaning to, I didn't, it wasn't a conscious decision at the time, but it was a lot easier. You wanted to keep him a lot, and his
Right.
other mama and papa wanted to keep him a lot. You did too, wanted him to come spend the night and stuff. You wanted the baby. Oh, it's a baby. It's a baby. Everybody wants a baby. But at first. And then it got.
I had a full-time job. I wasn't
Mhm.
able to do very much.
I know. I know.
And
That's
I
right.
was teaching across the mountain from where you were and where we lived. I had to drive to Whitesburg to teach.
Yeah. I know.
So I didn't really have enough time to take care of a child.
Well, look at me. You was teaching when you had me too. You know.
I didn't teach until you were like 5 years old.
You didn't work when...
No, I didn't work when you were born.
Interesting. Well, what did you all do?
Well, your dad worked.
He was in the prisons back then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A prison guard.
No, he wasn't. He was
What
a
was he?
he was a nurse practitioner.
Oh, he did that in the prison?
Mm-hmm.
Medical?
Mm-hmm.
You see how wrong we can get stuff thinking that we know something? Well, tell me, Mom. Tell me.
He had a good job.
A nurse practitioner.
With the Bureau of Prisons. He worked for a private clinic in Fort Worth, Texas for a long time.
And then he ended up being a janitor.
Well, there's
at
nothing
grade
wrong with
school.
being
No, I'm not saying there
It was a
is.
good job.
He retired from the school system with that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially back then, it was a good paying job.
Mm-hmm. Very well respected. They have a lot of influence on a lot of people. So, I don't have any problem with him. He didn't like me very well, but I liked his mommy, though. He had a great mommy.
Why didn't he like you, Mom?
Because I was an old bossy female and thought I knew everything.
Well, I get that. Well, Well, then I was born 49 years ago today.
Yeah, I remember that. I was by myself.
Where was he at?
Oh, he'd gone off and took another job out around Fort Worth, Texas. Out around. We were in Fort Worth, and he had taken another job. He had gone back with the Bureau of Prisons. He had worked for him, and then he quit and took this job in a private practice. And so he decided he was going to go back to the Bureau of Prisons. And that job was out in El Paso. So he was in El Paso and I was in Fort Worth, actually Weatherford. So when I went into labor, I was by myself. And these people were supposed to drive me to the hospital. And I went over to their house, drove myself. And his wife had gone, and I don't know what it was. Well, anyway, they couldn't take me to the hospital. So I knew this other woman that said if I needed her, she'd take me. So I called her, and she didn't really want to take me to the hospital because, it was at Thanksgiving. It was the day after Thanksgiving. But she did take me.
She didn't?
She did.
She did.
And she took me to the hospital, and I got out and went in the hospital, and that was that.
Well, when did he come back?
Well, I think he flew in that night or the next day or something.
I don't have any memory of you two married. Zero.
Well,
I don't know how old I was. How old was I when y'all got divorced? I think I
I
was
don't know,
7
maybe.
when he got remarried.
Well, so you must have been 5 or 6.
I have no memory. My very first memory after is him with her. I have zero memory of our family together. I think it was just so traumatic losing everything because you have a family unit, a mom and a dad and a daughter and a son. And then whenever you all got divorced, dad took Wes and you took me. And it was just,
Well, Wesley stayed with me for a couple of years.
well, I don't remember. I have zero memory of any of that. Never have had. I've never remembered any of it.
Well, might not be nothing to remember. I wouldn't worry about it.
I don't. It's just another day. Listen, my focus is on my kids and me being a mother now. It doesn't matter what happened back in any of it. You know, our past shapes us and it makes us who we are, but we can't change any of it. I think that we spend the rest of our future and the rest of our lives trying to heal from the trauma and the things that we go through. But like I said, I'm dying on that hill. I'm dying on the hill of prevention. I don't care, which way you want to go, whether it's abstinence, whether it's medically assisted, it don't matter. By the time you get to that stage anyway, it's all just whatever works. Whatever works. You are in a maintenance at that point we're just trying to either maintain a level of some kind of functionality or or not, and then you're just the rest of the world's problem, the jail, whatever, the court's problem. But if we don't start putting our time and our money and our focus onto the prevention side of it, I don't think we'll ever get on any kind of a an upper hand. I think we're always going to be playing catch up, and especially with the world. This ain't getting better. I don't think it's ever going to get any better. I think it's only going to start getting worse.
Now, see, I disagree with you on that.
Well, I read the Bible, and I know what the Bible tells us is coming.
Well, I didn't read the Bible, and I guess the world will end someday, but it's nowhere near in sight.
No, but
guess
men are gonna keep getting more evil. I don't think that we're not gonna pollution. I mean, the weather gets worse. Like, I don't think that we're gonna start seeing. It's not gonna. The damage that's already been done to our earth and our society isn't gonna get.
Well, that damage to the earth will repair itself, and society will repair itself. It just has to be at the right time and at the right moment. When we came to America, first started coming, the Europeans, look what we did to the American Indians. And nothing could be worse than some of the things that we did at that time and place. Look what we did to the black people. Nothing could be worse than what was done to the black people. I mean, I am surprised that as a race they survived in this country. I mean, it was really something else. And they had, they had their songs and their religion and different things, and how they kept going, I'll never know.
Well, the
But they did.
American Indians have been almost wiped out.
Well, of course they have.
They had an entire continent.
Well, there was a lot of them, and the buffalo, we killed off the buffalo almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of feel like if they could get away with it, they'd kill all of us addicts off too. Some of them would. It's the survival of the fittest. This medicine or all of this dope that's been coming into this country. I mean, that's our enemies putting it together and shipping it all in here for us to kill ourselves and kill each other. They don't have to go to war with us. All they have to do is make this kind of dope and send it in here to us, and we'll do it ourselves. That's what's sad.
Well, not everybody is addicted.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I don't do that. I don't do that dope. I've never done that dope. But you think it don't affect us? It affects all of us.
well, everything affects all of us, It's the way that it is.
It's taking over our communities. Whether we see it. See, I don't think you see it as much because you've never lived that lifestyle. You don't see it on a personal level, like I see it. We got parents. I got kids that go to school that I see every day whose parents, it's sad. You go to the grocery store. Somebody in front of you in line is going to be geeked out all over the place. It's sad.
Well, I have an interesting selection of friends. Now, I might not have young friends, but I have old friends that were addicts and probably still are addicts. I don't know it, but they are probably. I'm just saying that, it's just the way life is.
Yeah, it's the way it is. And it's up to us. Nobody's going to do any of it for us. I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I don't care what anybody thinks about me because one of these days I'm not going to be here no more. I'm not promised tomorrow. I have to do everything that I can possibly do. I feel like I'm running out of time. Like I'm almost in a panic that I have got to get my children raised. I've got to get my kids in a way prepared and get their feet under them to where when I'm not here, they will survive without me. Like that is such a big fear now that I have at this
Well, they'll
stage
be
in
18
my life.
soon. It won't be long. They'll be 18.
I'm old. I was old when I had them. I was 35 and 36 years old. So, I'm almost 50 and they're just still teenagers. They're just starting their teenage years. So I got to make sure and they're boys. I've never had a man in my life that hasn't disappointed me and let me down. And I don't know anything about men. Like I know absolutely nothing. So it's like the blind leading the blind.
Well, I think I'll go to bed unless you have another question you want to ask me.
No, that's all right, Mommy. We'll see you tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
All righty. I got all kinds of food cooked. Want me to tell you about it?
Sure. Go ahead. Tell us what we're having tomorrow.
I got banana pudding and it's ready. And I made sweet potatoes casserole. Now, these sweet potatoes, I put maple syrup in them. And then on top, I crunched up these pecans and I made this stuff to go on it. So it's got like a crust on the top. This sweet taters do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made collards, and they are delicious.
Good. That's my favorite collard
My
green.
turkey, I think it's going to get unthawed, so I'll start making my turkey. I don't know when to start. I'll have to look and see.
It usually just takes a couple hours. I always overreact.
Oh, Elizabeth, it takes more than a couple hours. It'll take 4 hours for that thing to bake.
Well, maybe 4, but I mean, I always overreact and think that I gotta cook it for like half a day or something.
And let's see. I was going to make green bean casserole, and I got tired, but I did make dressing, and I bought a box of cornbread stuffing. You know, that kind you can buy. And then I chopped up onions, and I chopped up a bunch of celery and sauteed it, and I put that dressing in there, and I made it with chicken broth. And then I had some rolls that they were selling they were the rolls of that guy makes that bread that's, like $5 a loaf. I forget the name of it. Well, there was some little rolls, and they were selling them for 99 cents because today was the expiration day. So I pulled them things, 4 of them, and put them in my dressing. Oh, it is so delicious.
Well, good.
I didn't make any hard-boiled eggs, though, and I don't remember what else I made. But I was going to make some green bean casserole, but I wasn't going to make it with that mushroom soup.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. You can make it however you want. I'm going to make the deviled eggs tonight, and then I'll put the ham in the
All right.
morning.
Well, I'm going to go to bed. I hope you've had a good birthday.
Yeah, I have.
Got to be happy.
Yeah, praise the Lord, honey. I woke up today. I had a very, very blessed birthday.
That's exactly right.
Amen. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mommy. I love you.
Love you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let me go back over here and see. Okay. Speaking on behalf of the Turner family, attorney Adrian Collins said in a statement that we remain prayerful for his safe return and for everyone affected by the circumstances surrounding his disappearance. We trust God to bring truth and clarity in his time. Any allegations should be addressed through the proper legal process, not through speculation or rumor. We ask the public and media to show compassion, accuracy, and respect for the family's privacy. Wise County Public Schools said in a statement that Turner remains on leave and is not permitted on school property or to have contact with students. The division will continue to cooperate with law enforcement as this process moves forward. People are still wondering where Ben Fields is. I don't think he's making ever since the stuff had happened with him and Sabrina, or with any of them. I don't think he's made a habit of being down at the courthouse. But then again, I'm never at the courthouse. I don't go down there ever. I couldn't tell you if he's been down there or not. And it would be very easy for him to be let in the side door over there by the smoke room. And he'd go right up there to the judge's chambers, to the smoke room, and go right in there with his wife, right, Angie. He could be hanging in there in the judge's chambers in the smoke room, and none of us would have ever known anything about it. He could be a regular down there, and we'd never know it. They could have hired him on as an independent contractor. Somebody else could have, right there at the courthouse. He could be working for the city of Whitesburg, for all we know. He could be working for anybody associated down there, and we would never know. Isn't that interesting? That's a fun thought, isn't it? That's a really, really fun thought. Anyway, it got me thinking about it. And, nobody really knew about what Ben had done. I mean, yeah, they did a couple stories about it when it happened, but I didn't know anything about it. Most of the people that I've talked to since the shooting happened said the exact same thing. They didn't know anything about it. The only way that any of this even came out and became common knowledge was because Mickey went and shot Kevin. I also think that the only reason any of us know about Coach Turner is because he took off running. Now, I said earlier on this video, and I'll say it again, I don't necessarily believe that he took a rifle and ran up into the woods. Somebody could have just said that. I don't think you go hire an attorney. I don't think that you do this kind of PR. I just don't. If that's what he went and did. Because I would completely be expecting them to find his body. They would have already found him. And if he's not a survivalist, if he's not a hunter, if he's not an outdoorsman, there's absolutely no way that he would be able to elude law enforcement this many days with K9s, with helicopters, with ATVs. But then again, are they even searching for? I know they say that they are. They were also searching for the I-95 Joseph Couch too. How much money did they spend searching for him? KSP. Just for our Hatfields and McCoy, Fred McCoy and his wife Sheila, to be the ones to find him. So my faith is just not in law enforcement. Wise County Public Schools. The division will continue to cooperate. All right. Turner had winning football record. Turner is the football coach at Union High School in Southwest Virginia's Wise County. Union had strung together 12 straight wins to remain undefeated this season and advance to a regional final this Saturday. Before coaching Union's team, Turner was a quarterback at Appalachia High School. So this is going to kind of give a little backdrop on him, who he is. We all may be wretched and all that, but Jesus loves us. We were made in God's image. Amen. Hallelujah. So we are lovable and good looking. That's right, girlfriend. That's right. So Turner was a quarterback at Appalachia High School, which merged into Union High School in 2011. His father, Tom Turner, was also his high school football coach. Oh, so are you telling us that he was an entitled boy whose daddy was his coach and made him quarterback, and then because of that wonderful nepotism that I was never able to get any of. Because Daddy was a coach, they hired him. Oh, it's starting to make perfect sense, isn't it, you guys? Isn't it making perfect sense? He's one of the good old boys. And his daddy was the good old boy. Huh. Imagine that. I reckon you got to be a good old boy to be a head football coach at LCC. So, I would imagine that you would have to be a hand-picked, made man to be the head coach at Union High School just as well. What did I say? Every town has their own little mafia. And it seems like they all use the exact same playbook. Yeah. Tom Turner was inducted into the Virginia High School Hall of Fame in 2005. Oh, yeah, these are very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Bougie. This is what bougie is. This right here. This is bougie. This is hillbilly bougie, baby. Hillbilly bougie. Online records indicate Travis Turner was in Virginia Tech's 1998 recruiting class alongside future NFL quarterback Michael Vick. Oh, you mean the dog fighter. And also went on to play football at University of Virginia Wise in 1999. Defensive coordinator Jason Edwards stepped in as interim head coach in Union's victory over Graham last weekend, according to the Bristol Herald Courier. Well, which also reported that Bears players didn't want to talk afterward about the situation involving Turner. I would say Jason Edwards probably will have him a new job. He will probably be given or offered, maybe. Who knows? But if he stepped in Travis Turner's stead for that ball game and they won, which I heard they did, they won their game without Turner. I'd say that guy's probably got a new, and he should be given it, I think. But maybe he don't want it. He might want to stay defensive end or defensive coordinator. Who knows? But I would just say for him to step up like that in such a short notice, in such a big game when so much was at stake and on the line, pretty good coach. I guess he could fill those shoes. Asked about Turner, Division Superintendent Mike Goforth told the AP in an emailed statement that Wise County Public Schools is aware of charges filed against a staff member who has been on administrative leave, and that the person isn't allowed to be on school property or have any contact with students. He didn't disclose when or why that leave began and said school officials wouldn't comment further because it's an ongoing legal matter involving personnel. Well, I'm just going to say again, people need to start being held accountable for the personnel decisions that they make. Yeah. I don't think that you can continue to overlook red flags because of nepotism, because you keep wanting to hire people's family members, overlooking policy, overlooking procedure, and, and then not have to pay the consequences when those red flags turn into landmines. somebody ought to have to be held accountable for their incompetence in hiring personnel. And if they have such bad decision making, if they have done that, if it's a pattern, if you can look at a lot of bad hires, a lot of bad decision making, then they need to be replaced. I don't know any job that I would not have been fired immediately, terminated, that right then on the spot. But for some reason, all these other yahoos can do and hire whoever and give me your vote. I'm going to throw my name in the hat again, and I want you to vote me back in. Give me another chance. Like Judge Executive Terry Adams. And what did we do? Well, I mean, we didn't do it. I sure didn't vote for him. But he found enough votes somewhere where a certain number of people did vote him back in. $100,000 a year is an awful big incentive. Yeah. Anyway. All right, you all. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Thank you, Crystal. Bless you, honey. Bless you, bless you, bless you. It's just been another day. What you got? Okay, she got a ball. Mike Vick is disgusting. Yeah. Nope. I ain't got nothing for nobody does no dog fighting. All right. Maybe they got him in an online dating sting. That's possible. I don't know. But they've had to have had the digital evidence first. They've had that whenever they were coming to talk to him. Oh yeah. And if he's guilty, he knows what he's done. He knows what he's guilty of and what he's not guilty of. We all do. Every single one of us knows what we've done and what we've not done. So only we know what's at stake. Only we know what they can find or what they're not gonna find. And usually our reactions tell that. Anyway. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. I thank you, Lord, that I woke up this morning. I thank you for giving me another day. Ain't none of us promised tomorrow, and I got one more day under my belt trying to prepare a foundation for my children. Lord, I've always known that if I didn't do it, they wouldn't have a mother. If I didn't straighten up, if something didn't give, if I didn't change it now, they wouldn't have a mother. I thank you, Lord. You knew what it was going to take to change my life. You know the end from the beginning for every single one of us, Lord. I pray that you heal. I pray that you touch each of us, Lord, and that you heal all those broken places. We all have them. And I pray that you just move, that you breathe over us, Lord. I'm thankful for the roof over my head. I'm thankful for having a safe place that I can call mine. I'm thankful that we're able to go to the store and buy food for us to eat. I'm thankful that me and my children have not been a burden on society, that you have helped me get to where we're at today. You kept your light at my feet and kept me on that path that led right to where we are today. And I don't know where we're going, Lord, but I know that I'm going with you, regardless of what it is. I can't walk without you holding my hand. I can't talk without you holding my hand. And oftentimes, I stick my foot right in my mouth. But I pray, Lord, that you forgive me for my sins. I pray that when I fall on my face, I pray that you'll always pick me up. I pray for your mercy and your grace. I pray for your protection around about everybody, all of us under the sound of my voice, Lord. I pray for your protection. I pray for you to put your hand over top of us, Lord. And that I pray that you'll teach us how to let a lot of that stuff roll off our back. It's hard. It's hard to turn the other cheek. It's hard to forgive. It's hard to let go of grudges. I'm the world's worst. I struggle with resentment. I struggle with bitterness. I struggle with all of it every day. And I pray that you take whatever's in my heart, Lord, that's not of you. I pray that you remove it. I pray that you replace it with love and compassion. I pray that you just give me whatever it is that I need, the skills, the whatever. I pray that you just give it to me and give it to me in spades, Lord. I pray that you keep opening those doors and that you keep showing me which ones to walk through. I pray that you keep shutting the doors that no man can open and keep them closed. Every time that you remove people out of our lives, you usually put somebody new in them. And so I'm looking forward to that, Lord. I'm looking forward to the favor that you've got coming for us, Lord. I'm looking forward to all the surprises that we don't know about yet. I love you, Jesus. My faith is in you. My faith is in what you did at Calvary. My faith is in the blood of Jesus. I'll never be worthy. I'll never measure up. I'll never be good enough. But your blood covers a multitude of sin. I praise you, Jesus. I praise you, Jesus. I pray that you go with us tonight, that you bring us back safely tomorrow at the appointed time. And until then, we give you all praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Amen. This dog is driving me crazy. She's wanting to go out. I wish you'd stop and go away. She's got this thing right up in my lap. All right, go away. All right, guys. Well, you have a great rest of your night. Have a very, very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. And we will definitely do a Thanksgiving show tomorrow night. I have to do a show. I have to do a show every single day or I don't make enough money to pay my bills. There is no taking a day off. And even then, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's all right. Oh, all right. Watch the replay, sister. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Love you all. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Can't hide from from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pine.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't match the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the